G'day Trailblazers, my name is Cam, and for today's video I'm going to show you how you can use the row count function in SQL to dedupe your records in data extensions in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So to demonstrate how to use this function, I first need to have some dirty data which needs the duplicates removed. Now I've gone ahead and I've generated about 5,000 unique subscriber records. You can see here, all nice unique subscribers. What I have to do though is put some duplicates in so I can then remove those dupes. So I'm going to go into Excel here and go floor, and let's floor a random function, coin flip of 2 with a specificity of 1. This is now going to produce a 1 or a 0, which I can use to generate my coin flip. And all the ones that have a 1, I'm going to duplicate. So let's paste that down, and all the 1s, and there we are. All the 1s are duped. I can now remove my 1 function. I should now have a lot more records, about 7,545 in total. Perfect. So lots of dupes in this data. So I'll now go ahead and save this file. And let's import it into Marketing Cloud. So over in Marketing Cloud now, I have my 5,000 customers to import. I'm going to import this data. So I'll use my simple import function here. Let's pick up that file and drop it into the data extension. Now, very importantly, the subscriber key field, or the contact field, is not actually going to be a primary key. It's going to allow me to have those duplicates. So when I do import this data, it's going to allow me to import all those 7,500 records, which I can then dedupe in SQL. So I'll map by header row, it's all matching there, perfect. Next, and import. So the import has completed. We now have 7,500 records there in our 5,000 customers to dedupe. Now, before we go and make our SQL activity, we first have to go and make a destination data extension. So very quickly, we'll jump in to our create a new data extension. We'll choose an existing data extension and choose to duplicate that data extension. So over in my activities here, let's choose that SQL activity, 5,000 import, and go OK. And call this one 5,000 import deduped. Perfect. We go next, and for good measure, our GUID, our primary key or our subscriber key, will now make a primary key, so it must be unique. We'll go create. This will be a good test to make sure that we do in fact dedupe our 7,500 records down to our intended 5,000 records. So now let's jump into Automation Studio and write out our SQL. So the first thing we'll do is jump into our automation and go new automation. Call this one our 5,000 dedupe automation. And of course, make ourselves a brand new SQL query activity. So I'll go choose and create new. Now this query activity, we'll call this one also 5,000 dedupe, just for our example today, and go next. Now our first thing to do is to navigate to our data extension. So I'll go to my demos and my SQL. I'll find myself my 5,000 import. There it is there. So our SQL query will look a little bit like this. We're going to say select. Now because both data extensions have the same structure, we can cheat and go select star or select all. In the next line we can say from, and from what data extension? Well, it's from our import, just like that. Now the function we have to use today is going to be our row number function to dedupe our records. So what I can do is inside my first select statement here, I can put a comma, make another field, and I can start to type out my row number function. And my function should read row underscore number. That's going to be an over function, as I want to specify how I'm going to row number my data. Inside the over, I'm going to tell it how to break up that data. It's going to be a partition by, and it's going to be partitioned by a particular field. That's going to be order by, and then order by another particular field. Once I've got this, of course, I have to give my new field a name. So be as, I'm going to call this one rn for row number. So what fields do I want to partition my data by? Well, partition by, and luckily for me, inside of my data, I of course have my GUID. So I'm going to use that as the thing to split. Now partitioning means I'm going to be using that value to say every time you see a new GUID, make a new row count starting from 1. So because there are 5,000 unique GUIDs, there should be 5,000 instances of the number 1 as it starts counting up every time it finds a unique GUID. So I'm going to say GUID is what to break it up by. Now what to order by? Now of course for half of my data, they're going to have a duplicate GUID, so they should have the numbers 1 and 2 for the duplicate. But how should the SQL function order that data? Well, there's no creation date or anything else that I could use. I could order by first name, but they're all, of course, just duplicates. So for now, I'm just going to choose my date of birth field to order it by that. So I'll say order by DOB as the row number. Now check out my syntax so far. It's looking good, but unfortunately, I don't just want to select all my data and make a row count. I actually want to dedupe my data. So now I can make myself use this function as a nested query to now use a dedupe function in my where clause. So I'll put some line breaks down and make a new function. I'm now going to say that I want to select all the data from this subquery. So I can break up this from statement here, take my first selection statement and paste it inside of this from. And so now it's saying choose all the data from this statement. But I don't want all the data though, I do want to have a where clause. So I make this one my table A. I'm going to say it's where the row number function in the A table, so it's a.row_number, is equal to 1. So only bring back from these 7,500 records where the row number that you've resolved in the first function here is equal to 1, which means don't bring back the duplicates where row number was equal to 2. Now check this out by going validate syntax, and we're looking good. So I'll move forward. Let's now choose to use a overwrite function. I'll place this inside of that data extension that we created, our 5000 deduped. Overwrite, next, and finish. Now hopefully, once you run this automation, we're going to see that there are 5,000 records in that data extension. Again, as of right now, the data extension has 0 records, so hopefully, once you run this automation, we'll see 5,000 at the end. And the SQL has just finished. I can see it took 5 seconds to run. By jumping into my data extensions and refresh this folder, hopefully we now find 5,000 unique records. Perfect. So taking one more look at the SQL activity so you understand how it works. We are using a nested SQL statement here, a nested select statement, to select all the data from our original data extension, then adding a new field to it with a comma, which we are calling rn for row number. We're using the row number over partition by function to choose our data, and our partition by part here is telling us to use the GUID as the field to count on row number 4. Every time you find a new GUID, start the row count all over again. The order by function here by default uses the ascending function, but you can of course use descending using DESC if you like, and that's why you can use a field such as a creation date to choose the oldest or newest record as your chosen record to import. The most important thing of course being, once our nested query is complete, we then use a where clause in the outer query to use the where row number is equal to 1 to only bring back the non-duplicated records or the first record found through this order by statement. And if you want to try this out for yourself, I've just uploaded a set of customer duplicate data onto my GitHub, which I'll put a link in the description below. You can see here there are 200 rows of customers, of which only 100 are unique. So try the CSV file for yourself and follow my steps to upload the file and then dedupe the data down to the original 100 customers. So let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you did. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you are notified when I release more Salesforce Marketing Cloud content.